Hey everybody, it's Jackie and I'm here with another journal flip through. Again, we're working in my Dylusions Creative Diary. This is the book I'm keeping all year. I've shown you guys this before. I love showing you how fat it's getting. It's just like unwieldy at this point. I don't like fat books, you know that. I'm just doing my best to keep working through it. It's getting harder to work on the pages, and like I said, I don't use anything dimensional in it. It's just, I think the act of opening every page in this book just makes it like twice as wide to begin with, and plus this, you know, the photo paper and the washi tape and stuff. All right, I think this is where we are, right? And so you guys saw these backgrounds already, and so I just thought I'd talk a little bit about them. This background, all I did was glue down a Gelli plate and a Gelli print, and that's what I do when I don't know where to start or I'm not happy with the background it comes with. So I do Gelli print sessions a couple times a year using one of these Gelli gel printing plates. And I watched YouTube user Cat Hand has some wonderful process videos of how she Gelli plates. Everything I do, I learned from her, so I'll link to her video below so you can see it. And I just basically make these little prints that I can glue down to my page. I use matte medium to do it anytime I want, that I don't want to do the work, and it looks like I painted something, but really it's just a simple Gelli print. And I do them on deli paper, which is super, super thin, but it's tougher than tissue paper. So it just makes a really nice print. And so I just have a stash of these. I always keep like 10 or 15 of these on hand. And anytime I don't have an idea, I just grab one and use it. And it's so easy to do a background that way. And so this is where this came from. And then I just stamped a couple of butterflies on it and painted them purple, and it was easy. And then I thought I'd talk a little bit about how I do the pages. I'm getting kind of away from photos lately. I'm not finding a lot of photo-worthy moments in my days. And so it's a lot more writing than it was, and a lot more art than it was. Like in the past, it was like all photos. And I think that's just because I'm working so much, and I think that's fine. I think your style changes over time, and that's okay. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about my writing, how I keep it interesting. When I went back to the gym, I just used a Mambi sticker. I love my Mambi stickers. I use them anytime I can think of it. For my writing, most of the time I just use a basic fine liner. Right now I'm using a Faber-Castell XS pen, but any fine liner will do. It changes all the time. And then sometimes I do titles a little darker using a marker. For that, I typically use the Pigma Graphic 1. I just like this one because it's just a marker and it just writes thick. So that's good. Then when I want to throw in some colorful writing, I use my Flair pens. I got these at Dollarama a couple months ago for $4, and they are felt tipped pens as well. And they're just nice when I want to add a pop of color. So that's how I did this writing. Sometimes I use my Dylusions paint pens. I've shown you these before. Grab them. Which are these ones, and they're all right. I find they're getting I've been using them for a few months now, and they're getting clogged a lot, and they seem to be like the tips are getting wrecked on them. I know I'm hard on pens, so that's partly my fault, but I don't know, they're not my favorite anymore the way they were. For this type of writing, I use a Fudenosuke pen. This one is a Kuretake Zig one. I got it at Curry's in Toronto, and it's got a flexible brush tip, and just thick on the downstrokes, thin on the upstrokes, and that's how I do that kind of writing. And that's pretty much how I did all of those, except for the word "so hot." I use these little stamps that I get at Michael's that are like $1, $1.50, and I just stamp words in there sometimes, and that's how I did this little "so hot." And yeah, I just keep switching it up, and that's how I keep my pages so interesting. Sometimes I add little signals to myself, like I did cardio 3 times this week, so I just put these little Mambi cardio hearts, and I don't put any writing with them because I just have this little space. I can just look at a glance and say, okay, I went to the gym 3 times. And that's how, so I do that a lot in my journal too, just leave little spots that remind me of something that aren't necessarily journaling. So these pages, I'm so delighted with how they turned out. If you want to see the last time I did these in my book, it was, let me find the page. This was the last time I did these pages because the prints on the pages repeat. And I think it's a lot different this time. This time I used stencils. So I think a lot of us have Tim Holtz stencils lying around. I gave up on keeping mine clean. You know what? I use them. They look used and it's okay. So you can see I used this one with the yellow paint. And I just used that to do a stencil. It took up about half the page, and I just carried it out with the paint. The paints I use are nothing fancy. I just use Deco Art Americana. They're like $2 a bottle. I get them at DeSerres. I love them. They're just craft paint. I'm not fancy. And then one of my favorite techniques right now is on a really colorful background. I like to just put some gesso on my finger and rub it on the page to dull it out a little bit and put a clear Mambi sticker on top. And I'm finding that that's such a beautiful effect. So I've been doing that a little more lately too. And then you can see the writing I did here is all the same thing. This is with my Graphic 1 pen. These are some Mambi stickers. Most of it's done with my fine liner. And then this is done with the Food no Suke pen. These are done with my alphabet stamps. For this type of writing, I just wrote it out with a marker and traced out my pen like a brush marker and traced it out with a fine liner. And then that's more of the paint pen. And it's just really simple. Every day I just use a different pen or something. For the border on this, I just put some washi tape down and then I stamped it using the Dylusions. There's these Dylusions border stamps and it's just this one up here. And I just stamped it on the outside with some I don't know what kind of ink I use. The same one everyone uses, the black archival stuff. And the pictures, I just put a picture of my new printer, which is an HP Sprocket. I'm going to use that next year in my memory planner. And I took a picture of my December daily cover. I'm going to show this in another video, so stay tuned for a December daily video, first one of the year. And then a picture of my sister crafting, and I just put a little Dylusions label on top. And again, I only made it to the gym 1 week and I lifted, so I put a little weight there. And yeah, I just keep it really simple. Oh, I love these pages. I had watched the movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang with my sister a few weeks before I did these. And there's this song in it, and it goes, "Up from the ashes grow the roses of success." And I couldn't get it out of my head, so I just decided to make some art around it. So I had been watching a video on YouTube that got me thinking about collaging, so I started putting down some collage elements, and that's where this tissue paper came in. This was like some roses I cut out of something. And then for my words, I just messy painted a piece of paper, just like some sketch paper. I put red paint on it with a brayer, with a spray, just in all different ways. And then I just wrote out my letters as block letters, and I fussy cut them out, and it took forever. And then I brush script another word on top, and that's roses, using, I think I used one of my Ecoline markers for that. And I just fussy cut it out, and that's how I did these two words, and then I just stamped, "Up from the ashes grow the of." And then I used some red watercolor on this page, and I had these, and I used more red watercolor because I wanted to separate these words from the journaling since they're part of the art. And then these are some of the Jane Davenport rub-ons, these little paint squares. I had a piece of pattern paper I just put down the side, and I stamped my days of the week using a Citrus Twist stamp set. I don't have it handy. And some white pigment ink on black paper, and I just glued those down for my days of the week. Stamp my numbers as usual. And then the same writing as usual. I just used a brush pen to write. Elmer is helping me learn to sing. Elmer's my piano teacher. Now he's giving me singing lessons too, and it's amazing. He's like, I'm so lucky he came into my life. And then for these letters, I just, you know, did a double line every time there was a downstroke, and then colored it in red with the same marker I did up there. And this journaling, I kind of just like italicized a little bit, just using my hand, and I did a messy box around the outside and painted red in between the lines. This 35, those are stickers. I use the Food no Suke to write deals. This ampersand is a sticker, and yeah, just more writing. This one I did with a flare pen just to make it a different color. And I just took a picture of a pizza that we ate, get fit for the day I went to the gym, and I put some word stickers that match the same shade of red. And I got a light box at Dollarama. I think I posted a picture of that on Instagram. You might have seen it. And so I put a picture of that in there that says where I wrote out, "Relax, it's Sunday." And I did some music stamping on here too, just with a, I think it's a Prima stamp. It's just these tiny little subtle music notes because this is a song. It made sense to me. And I love these pages. I know red and gray and black are not exactly summer colors, but I just felt like stepping away from it for a second for a week, and that's what came out of it. And I love these pages. Oh, for the record, these this lettering technique, I learned it from the book Creative Lettering by Joanne Sharp. It was one of the techniques that was covered in that book. I don't have it handy, but yeah, it was such a good course, and it taught me so many different lettering tools to use in my book. Okay, I think these are the prettiest pages I've ever done, you guys. I'm so excited about these pictures, these pages. It looks a lot harder than it is, and it looks like I did a lot more art than I did, but basically all I did is I have this book, Botanical Line Drawing by Peggy Dean, and if I want to draw a flower, I just flip through it until I find a flower I want to draw, and it makes it so easy. And so eventually I flipped to this page, and these are the flowers that I drew, and I just follow the step-by-step instructions, and I drew them up here. And then I took my acrylic paint again, just some ultra deep blue Americana, and I painted everywhere else except the flowers. And then I just went over the there's like detail lines in the flowers, and I just went over those with a coordinating watercolor. You guys have seen my watercolors before. I used this palette. I got it off of Amazon. I filled it with my Cotman colors, Winsor Newton Cotman colors. Love them. Use them all the time. And then for my rating, I just used a Uniball Signo is the white pen that I like to use. I find it's the most opaque out of all the ones I've tried, and it's still not perfectly smooth, but it's the smoothest one I've tried. And then I just did a few square pictures of a bunny and some nature that I saw on the way to work, because I work in a really pretty area. And I'd gotten a thank you at work, so I took a picture of the email and some coins that I received in an artist trading coins swap I'm doing on the December Daily Inspiration group on Facebook. I've been getting so many of these coins. I'm going to show them in another video. And these are just Dylusions tapes. I've been working my way through this Dylusions sticker book for a while, and I realized I hadn't touched any of the tapes on this page, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to use a bunch. And that's, I just put them down the side there and painted over half of them when I was painting the page blue. This opaque color, that was these, but they didn't go on opaque right away. I had to write them out with white paint pen, or like with my Signo pen first, and then I went over them with the Dylusions paint pens, and that's how I got them to jump out off the page so much, that orange and that pink. But it was a cumbersome process. I don't think I'm going to do it very often. And I just used some Heidi Swap Day of the Week stickers, and this is just a Dylusions sticker. And that's those pages. And that's it for July. Now we're into August here, 1, 2, 3. And so I have my next pages prepped. I like to show them to you guys so you get a chance to see them sometimes before I do the journaling on them. And this is going to be this week in my journal. I love these pages. I'm just getting really heavy on the art these days. And so I guess with, you know, like I obviously I want my life to be exciting, but if I have a lot of pictures, I did not save myself a lot of space for them. Because I did all this art. So these I did using some new stamp sets that my sister and I got from Crafter's Companion. We ordered them off the shopping channel, and I used this door and this fairy and this flower, and I just stamped the flower a million times. Oh, and I think this was a stamp too, but it's on a oh yeah, this one. Right here I stamped twice. And then I colored it in using, I got this set of Turner Acrylic Gouache Prime set for my birthday back in April from my sister. It's from Above Ground Art Supplies, and this stuff is, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I absolutely love it, but I haven't figured out how to use it in a way that's not wasteful, because it works like gouache. You use it with water. It comes in these little tubes, and but it dries like acrylic paint. So I find that when I put it in my palette, I can't reuse it again because it dries like acrylic paint and then it's permanent. So I don't use it much. But it's so perfectly opaque, and it comes with this amazing color mixing guide that's got like 100 colors in it. And on the back, it tells you if you want to make this color, this one is 4 drops of violet, 1 drop of burnt sienna. And when you mix it, it comes out perfectly to match this thing every time. The color guide is amazing in this thing. But yeah, if you guys have any tricks for how to keep an acrylic palette where you put paint out and then it doesn't go bad later, like it doesn't dry out so you can use it again later, that would be great. And it comes with the brushes in here too. Like it doesn't come with the detailers, I put those in, but it comes with these really nice gouache brushes. Yeah, it's just a delightful little kit, but I just don't use it as often as I want to because I don't want to waste it. And so the purple that I used to color in these, I just watered it down and did a messy watercolor background on this side. And I even used it to write in my days of the week. I don't know if you can see those, but yeah, I just used the leftover paint that I had. I had leftover pink, so from doing the flowers, so I just used it to messily write out my words. And yeah, that's it. So that's it. I'll be back in a month with the next flip through. Thank you so much for watching.